Welcome back to CarTech Zone, and today we're diving into one of the most talked about defense technologies from the United States in 2025, the Dark Eagle Hypersonic System. This review is focused on its public performance information, what it represents for the USA in 2025, how it fits into the global technology race, and what kind of cost estimates experts generally associate with large-scale hypersonic development. This is not a technical or construction breakdown, but a high-level, safe, informational review just like you'd expect from a mainstream documentary or news channel. So let's jump right into it. The Dark Eagle system has been in headlines ever since it became part of America's modern hypersonic strategy. Even though a lot of its actual specifications are classified and not publicly released, the overall concept, purpose, and expected capabilities are widely discussed by defense analysts, journalists, and technology enthusiasts. And that's where our review today fits in. We're talking about the version of the Dark Eagle that the world knows publicly as of 2025, not anything deeper or confidential. What makes it special? Why is it considered one of the most important developments in hypersonic technology? And what does 2025 performance look like from a public perspective? Let's break it all down step by step. The first thing people always want to know is, what exactly is the Dark Eagle? In simple words, it's part of the U.S. Army's pursuit of hypersonic capability. Hypersonic simply means the ability to travel extremely fast, much faster than traditional systems, and it represents a major shift in global tech competition. The main goal of systems like Dark Eagle isn't just speed, but also improved responsiveness, precision, and the capability to operate in very complex modern environments. Most of what we know comes from official briefings, open-source defense reports, and general performance summaries shared publicly by the U.S. DoD. From a performance point of view, the public understanding in 2025 is that Dark Eagle aims to deliver speed and travel performance that places it in the hypersonic category, which means extremely fast travel through the atmosphere. The U.S. government does not share specific numbers, exact distances, or technical designs, but experts often describe the system as one of America's most advanced long-range conventional strike options. The important thing to note is that nothing about this system is meant for discussion at a construction or technical level. Everything is high-level and conceptual because the actual technology is sensitive and controlled. In 2025, the U.S. focus has shifted heavily toward updating and improving the reliability of its modern systems, and Dark Eagle is part of that evolving structure. The public performance discussions revolve around speed, precision concepts, and deployment flexibility. Analysts in 2025 often highlight that the system represents the U.S. commitment to staying ahead in global military technology, especially at a time when hypersonic research is being actively pursued by several major countries. Since hypersonic systems are incredibly complex, they aren't measured by simple, spec sheets, the way consumer products are. Instead, they're evaluated in terms of capability class, strategic value, survivability, and integration into existing military structure. One of the most interesting things about the 2025 Dark Eagle conversation is how much the system symbolizes. It's not just a piece of hardware, it represents a show of advancement, engineering standards, and long-term planning. The U.S. has emphasized that systems like Dark Eagle are meant to strengthen deterrence, meaning they reduce the chance of conflict by showing advanced defensive capability. So when we talk about performance in 2025, it's not just the physical aspects. It's also the strategic role the system plays in America's broader security framework. Now let's move into the part everyone always asks about. What does a system like this cost? Obviously, there is no exact price tag shared publicly, because systems like Dark Eagle are government-funded, multi-year defense programs with many different components. They include research, testing, development, infrastructure, training, logistics, and long-term maintenance. But analysts often estimate that hypersonic development programs in general cost billions of dollars over several years. That's not just the missile itself, it's the entire ecosystem surrounding hypersonic capability. Most of the cost comes from research, materials that can withstand extreme environments, and specialized facilities needed for testing. In open source estimates, building and supporting a hypersonic capability can range anywhere from several hundred million to multiple billions depending on the program and the scope. So when you hear numbers floating around online, remember that these are generalized estimates based on typical defense program spending, not the price of a single unit. The United States does not publish specific price tags for systems like Dark Eagle, so all we can do is rely on broad industry assessments. But when we talk about value, the conversation changes. In 2025, many experts argue that systems like Dark Eagle aren't simply expensive, they're strategic investments. The US sees advanced deterrence capability as essential in an era of rapidly changing technologies. Hypersonic programs worldwide require huge budgets because they push the boundaries of physics, material science, and aerodynamics. So while the cost may sound high, supporters say the capability is even more important. Now let's talk more about 2025 performance impressions. Because this system is still in phases of development and refinement, public information often focuses on milestones rather than specific technical details. Milestones include testing updates, deployment status announcements, and infrastructure development. Every time a milestone is reached, analysts discuss what it means for the program's maturity and reliability. From what's publicly known in 2025, Dark Eagle has been progressing through real-world testing steps, evaluations, and operational preparations. These processes are very normal for large-scale defense systems. The main points highlighted by the US are steady improvement, modernization, and aligning the program with long-term strategic goals. As with any developing technology, some tests succeed, some require adjustments, and all results lead to improvements. This is exactly how aerospace technology evolves. Something that surprises many viewers is how much of the shape, design, and visible structure of systems like Dark Eagle is influenced by physics more than anything else. The smooth surface, the sharp front, the body layout, these aren't cosmetic. They are practical, aerodynamic requirements for any object meant to operate at extremely high speeds. So even though the detailed components are classified, the external structure gives a broad idea of what category of technology it belongs to. Another common discussion in 2025 is how the Dark Eagle compares to other hypersonic capabilities around the world. Because many countries are now focusing on advanced speed systems, analysts compare programs based on public funding levels, testing schedules, and government statements. The general consensus is that Dark Eagle shows the US is investing heavily in future capabilities and is committed to catching up and surpassing global competition. But it's important to remember that comparisons are always limited because no country shares full details. Looking at the bigger picture, the US in 2025 is placing serious emphasis on modernization across all technology fields. Hypersonics is just one part of a much larger push toward advanced engineering, more efficient systems, and stronger national infrastructure. Dark Eagle fits into that story by representing a next-generation approach to long-range capability. Analysts often describe it as a pillar of future defense planning, not because of what it can do today, but because of what it is expected to evolve into. So if we were to summarize the overall 2025 performance outlook using safe, publicly known information, Dark Eagle is seen as a high-potential, developing system aimed at delivering extreme speed performance, enhanced responsiveness, and modernized capability. It is undergoing testing and refinement phases, it has significant investment behind it, and it plays a key role in America's long-term strategic plans. That's why it gets so much attention. Now let's talk about the visual and industrial side, something you guys on CarTech Zone always love. The Dark Eagle visuals seen in public showcases and hangars give an impression of advanced materials and modern engineering. The matte black exterior, the symmetrical body, the clean lines, all of that reflects high-quality manufacturing and precision standards. The US uses top-tier fabrication environments, automated systems, and strict quality control for developing advanced systems. This gives the Dark Eagle a very distinctive, futuristic, and almost sci-fi appearance, which is probably why so many of you requested this review for the channel. As for the future, most analysts believe the Dark Eagle will continue evolving throughout the decade. Hypersonic technology is not something that matures overnight. It grows through continuous testing, upgrades, and research breakthroughs. So the 2025 version is just one chapter in a much larger story. Every year brings improvements in materials, computing, sensors, and stability. So while the world sees only a fraction of the system, the big picture is long-term growth and refinement. Before we wrap up, let's talk about what the Dark Eagle means for the US in 2025. It symbolizes determination in technological leadership, commitment to modernization, and readiness for future challenges. It's part of a larger message about innovation, strength, and strategic positioning. Whether you're looking at it from a defense perspective, an engineering perspective, or simply as a piece of advanced tech, it represents a major step forward. And that brings us to the end of today's detailed, safe, and publicly focused review of the Dark Eagle as of 2025. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more advanced tech reviews, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to CarTech Zone, and comment which next system, vehicle, aircraft, or futuristic technology you want us to cover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.